QVSD board meeting. We will open with the Pledge of Allegiance. Are you ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okie dokie. That's a good start. First thing we have to do is approve the meeting minutes from our regular meeting of February 12th, 2024. Is there a motion to do that?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 12th.
Thank you. And who was that, Kevin? Thanks. Okay. Any corrections or omissions that anybody noticed? Nobody saying anything, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. All right, I believe it passed. Now we'll adopt the agenda the same way. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Ron. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks. Okay, Mike. Anything we need to add or pull out? Okay, don't see anything. So all those in favor of adopting tonight's agenda say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It is unanimous. All right, moving right along. We'll get her out of here by 5:35. Consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda?
Make a motion to clear tonight's consent agenda.
Well done. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks. Any questions about it?
The resignation, I don't know if we should accept that.
I know.
Here's the way that goes. We'll accept it when he finds a suitable replacement. Congratulations, Matt.
Thank you. I do want to say, if I could, I moment.
Yes.
Again, my sincere thanks for allowing me the opportunity to leave the elementary school. It's been a real honor, and I appreciate it. It's not without somewhat some trepidation of moving on, but this is an excellent opportunity for myself, career-wise, and my family. But again, thank you to each and every one of you, as well as Diana, for really helping support me through the leadership at the elementary school. It's been a great opportunity, so thank you.
Well, thanks for doing it.
You'll have me through June, so I'll keep at the same engagement level and more, so good for more to come. But again,
Well, we've appreciated having you. Does everybody know where you're going?
Yeah, where are you? Most everybody. I'm going to Algiers, capital city of Algeria, the U.S. Embassy based school. So I'll be a superintendent, head of school. So
The headmaster. Well, very good. We'll miss you.
Good job. Good job. Thanks.
Send us a postcard now and again,
indeed.
because I collect stamps.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, let us know how it's going, or at least let Diana know.
I will.
Yeah.
We already pledged to keep in touch. So
Okay.
Thank you,
Great.
Matt, for your service. The kids will really, really miss you. And you're like the president of the United States when you walk into your building with those little kids. So
And keep in mind that, 10 or 15 years down the road, we may need a new superintendent. So,
yeah, we won't lose touch. Yeah. Thank you so much again.
all righty. Any other questions about the consent agenda or comments? All right, is there, all those in favor of adopting tonight's consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, well, it's great, with great sadness that we accept the consent agenda. Everybody said yes. We're gonna have a party for him?
we will have a send-off party for him, yes.
All right, good. Okay, reports time. Financial report.
Ever two-time state champ there, Sloan
Oh,
Tamawa winning his second. Two-time, yeah. Did you take that
I
picture?
did.
Who took that?
Yeah.
Stan took the picture. Yeah.
That's what you gotta do some.
It is.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Okay,
Okay, so for the month of January, it's 8.5 apportionment, and so we had 4.4, little over 4.4 million of revenues, and so we were in the plus $156,000. And so you can see our net cash and investments with the county treasurer are at 18% of our overall budget. You can see we're about where we were last. Let me see. Let's look at it. Last January, and again, the reason we saw that huge uptick last year was because we over budgeted and we're really right above budget of where we were, what we had budgeted for with FTE. Go on. And so our unreserved undesignated is at about 12%, with almost 6 million. And we met our minimum or our required reserve funds. And then if you go into the budget status, one thing that is different now on our general fund is that Jan put in all of the
salaries and stuff.
yeah, she put in all of the expenditures that we're predicting to spend so that we can have a monitor, because we're going to have to do that budget extension. So where it shows that we're at 103% of expenditures with regular instruction, that's really just because we've encompassed everything that we project to spend. It may come in higher or lower pending a lot of different things like substitutes, payroll, any of the other areas that we're not aware of. But she's tried to encumber everything, our utility bills, salaries, our payment to Insight for contracted services, everything, so you can see better where we are. So currently, if we're looking at our actual end fund balance, we're above what we were projecting to end the school year last year at 8.6. We're at 8.8. And again, stay tuned as we continue throughout the year.
We will.
And what I learned in my superintendent's meeting on Friday is we're very fortunate that other school districts are not, are having some real tough times right now. One of the other things that I learned from our superintendent's meeting on Friday, to kind of give you a gauge, is that last year we were right at 50% of the state budget. This year they're predicting that they'll be funding 40% of the state budget will go to education. So they're not seeing that any increases. They're actually seeing a decrease in funding. Now, part of that is because we've lost a lot of students. Every school district has lost at least somewhere in the vicinity of 10% enrollment across the nation, actually. So stay tuned as we are predicting that it will be tough times for education.
Where are they going? I mean, it's
Home.
just quitting.
They're going home.
They're in other choice programs. There are more choice programs, kind of like Insight, where they have an opportunity to not be in their public school setting. Charter schools, there's charter schools in
Yeah,
the
but they
state.
pay for programs like, the state pays for programs like Insight.
Right, but our funding with our online virtual programs is much lower than
Oh, right.
than brick and mortar.
Still, that's a lot of students,
Mhm.
10%. I mean, like, but some are going up, like Competition, I think they're 1A and they're going up to 2A next year.
No, they're 2A
I mean,
going,
when they-
playing down
Going
to 1A.
playing down to one.
Oh, I thought I read the article
No.
said they were going back the other way.
No, they're gonna go back up to where they originally should be.
Oh,
I mean, there's a couple of.
Where's
like that
Competition?
we have.
not sure.
Well, in our, I mean, in our.
40 is what it's saying. So,
Squat patrol, I think Top Leash has like 800.
Yeah, they're a big two-way school. It was that poverty
Yeah,
factor that they used that created such a big decrease that they saw that maybe that wasn't such a great idea, so they capped how much you can reduce your enrollment.
So stay tuned.
Okay. Then, why don't you talk to us about enrollment?
Okay, so for brick and mortar, if we look at the overall average, we're really, at this point down 10 FTE, which isn't too bad. So we're holding strong, at least in our, brick and mortar enrollment.
But it's so low.
Yeah, much lower
It's
than.
almost half what it was when I started this
Mhm.
job.
And pretty steady at the elementary school, middle school as well. A few, and then again, the highest at the high school with minus 21 FTE. And then again, we saw the jump with the homeschool plus where we didn't physically move our Forks alternative students, but they were more of a home-based contract, so we moved them over. So Judy Whitehead has half of those students and Ashley Debris has the other half. And so, Myron, I don't know if these are just as accurate as what you shared with me today in our weekly meeting, but we're trending in the plus for our elementary, and I think we had some additional ads this week. Is that correct, Myron?
Yes, yeah, we started some more students today, and so these are probably from the February PG23, correct? So that would have been the February count day,
Right,
right? And this is the average, right? The 9-month average, if you will,
Right.
of that count day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we still added some students this morning. So we added about 50 kids in our K-8 program this morning, and we're going to be adding some more kids in the middle of March as well.
and middle school, we're trending way higher than we had predicted as well. And then go on to the high school. We're really, if on the average, right about what we had originally budgeted for. But Myron says that we'll be adding more as we added some today and we'll add more later. Is that right?
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit more. Our high school population is kind of growing a little bit more. It's got a little bit more of a. We're seeing a few more kids coming into their applications out, and so we're still approving for high school for the current school year, and all of our grades for the current school year until about the middle of March.
So if we're looking at an overall average of plus, we're currently at 210 FTE, and that will be the reason why we have to do the budget revision.
Extension or revision?
Revision, yeah.
Didn't they just take a whole bunch of money away from us from last year
No,
because we were under?
no, they do that in January. They adjust in
Okay, did
January.
they
So
do that in January?
we didn't see that adjustment this year because we're closer to budget where we were. Yeah.
Good. Anything else on that?
That's it.
All right. Leadership report. Diana, attendance.
Can you pull that up too, please? Oh, we got it. Sorry. That's okay. Take your time. So if you are looking at our district average daily attendance, you can see the elementary school has the highest average daily attendance rate at 92.59%, and FMS at 90%, Forks High School at 90%, Forks Alternative School at 70%, which actually brings our overall district average down to 86%. That's the average daily attendance. And then if you look on the right-hand side, the far right, well, you can see that the blue is what is considered anything that has the blue mark, the red, and the yellow, and all the other colors behind it. Those are chronically absent kids. And so the good news is we're still up compared to last year. The bad news is that we were holding on to right at 20% of our overall students who have chronic absenteeism. The difference is that if you go to the last month, we have more students who are now in the red, missing 20 to 29%. So those numbers are going, our chronic absenteeism is actually increasing.
Our averages up.
Our daily average is up, but not our overall. Those are the kids who are missing more than, again, the state defines that as missing more than 10% of instruction.
But this is still good compared to nationwide. It sounds like.
Yes, in theory, if we can hold that. What we know about middle and high school, actually, I looked at MATs over time, and MAT is holding and if not improving. And it's easier for little kids because they need a babysitter and their parents drop them off. It gets a little harder in the middle school, and it gets harder, especially in the spring, for our high school kids. And so typically what we would see in March when springtime comes around is you might see those numbers drastically increase for absenteeism. Again, I just want to thank the staff who are really focusing on making the calls, filing truancy, and then paying attention to that detailed information. One of the things, we have a monthly attendance meeting, and we'll be having that I think next week on Thursday. And so one of the things I've been asking is about two-way contact. We do a lot of one-way contacting, robophone calls, Dojo, which is an app that goes out. I think the Dojo is pretty effective, but we're also wanting two-way conversation. So when I call the parent, I find out what's going on at home.
So it's actually not bad. The alternative school brings us down, but the number of students there is quite a bit, it seems odd that we would let that percentage drag the whole average down since it's such a small number of students compared to the rest of the school.
But there's still an aggregate in that 900.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, our focus is really hitting and trying to figure out why kids are missing, and then figuring out what would better help them engage and come to school. Putting in at the end of the school year last year, we were at 54% were attending regularly. So we are much further ahead if we can hold on. The challenge is going to be March, April, and May.
Especially with those seniors.
So are any of the problems that are causing the high absenteeism being addressed? And can you give us an example? Not with names or anything,
No.
but
No.
Tom would be able to say too, it's such a case by case,
Mhm.
very family specific on what the family needs to, in order to get the kid to school.
so how many students? So we have in the Forks High School as of 2/15, we have a little over 5% that are missing 20 to 29%. And somebody must have done the math, so I don't have to figure out what 5% of.
230 kids.
Okay, so we're talking about 12 kids.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
All right.
And I really do believe it's a case by case basis. My hunch would be that there's a lot of mental health issues. When we looked at our healthy youth surveys from 2 years ago, and the new ones will come out, that might be something that would interest you that we would bring. I think 50% of our high school kids, and we only do the healthy youth survey in 10th grade and 12th grade, said that they were depressed one day of the week or more, something like that. I mean, just to give you an example. And again, on the coattail of COVID, I think that it has impacted the mental health issues that our kids have, anxiety, worrying about things, you name it. And they could tell you more what we're seeing, but that would be my guess. And that's a broad brush to paint. I mean, it's
Mental health, be respectful to our families across the board, variety of challenges, trying to get, and we provide the bus service and try to provide every sort of possible way. We'll come get your kiddo and deliver them and feed them breakfast, and lunch, and serve them all day and get them engaged in activities. Yeah, there's all sorts of different barriers, which is challenging.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
we have a total of 51 truancy action taken, and with 51 of our truant students, that means that we've done a community engagement board meeting. Of the 51, we have 17 that are in what we call the stay mode, where we work with the families and we put a kind of a contract in place. We'll do this, you do your part. And then if that's not followed, then we move them over to the filing. And so we have currently are in the process of referring 34 to the courts, of which there are 17 that court has taken action, with 11 being truant and 6 being in contempt of their orders.
And if they're in contempt, what does that mean?
It means even though the court has ordered them to come to school, they're not coming to school.
Then nothing will happen.
Well, they could get like community service. Families can be fined penalized $25 a day. Could be. This week we have parents who are being filed for contempt now because their kids aren't coming to school.
Which is what you do at the elementary school. And just
Right.
as a quick reminder that you can't file on anybody younger, kindergarten or younger. Doesn't happen. Truancy court really only begins at grade 1 and moving forward. So any young kiddos can't use the truancy court as a leverage point.
But we do our best to try and contact people, families, and make home visits. But they don't open the door or let you in. No problem.
Has the court ever imposed those fines on people, or they just, it's there if they want
Sometimes
to
it
use it?
happens.
Have
It
they?
hasn't yet this year, but we're getting close.
I think it's the teeth though too. Actually making it happen. I'm not seeing that.
So help me out here, I guess, clarify for me. The percentages don't, it's 21.15% of the people who have chronic absenteeism. So if there's 50 people who are chronically absent, this chart is showing me that 21.15% of those are absent 10 to 19, and 20% of them are absent. 20% of the 50 are absent. The next level, is that what those percentages?
Those percentages mean that, like the red means that right under 9% or 8.7% of our 888 kids are missing 20 to 29% of the days. So if there were,
Okay, so these red numbers account for all of those.
correct, that far right
Okay.
corner is district average up to now, starting from September, going all the way through February.
So is time of year a factor in this at all?
Yeah.
Because I noticed that things are really great up until
Yeah,
about Christmas time.
yeah.
Okay.
What's that little side note on it? Says record action day is the student movement transfers to FAS and inside School of Washington. And previously students filed on turning it.
So there might be some students in there. I don't know where the asterisk is for which group. But if we had a student who transferred from the alternative school to Insight School of Washington, or from Forks High School to Insight School of Washington, sometimes that's going to affect the way the attendance
So it
looks.
kind of gets them off the hook.
Yeah, yeah. We will continue to focus our efforts on making sure that we're doing everything we can to get our kids here.
Okay.
If they are not here, they cannot learn.
And these all tend to be the same kids in the same categories, or is there in and out of that group?
At least at the elementary school, I don't tell them what's.
What do you mean?
We have families, or specific families who, all the kids that we, whether it's elementary, middle school and high school, you know, it's just kind of endemic in that.
In that family group.
Then we have other kids who have just kind of stopped coming to school, even though we've met with parents. We try to come up with plans or ways to get them back in and doing something.
Who's more responsive to that, the parents or the students? The students just say, Mom, Dad, I don't want to go. And the parents say, well,
Boy,
the parents.
I think it goes both ways. So it's always helpful when you have a parent who's on our side.
Yeah.
That's more helpful, but even still, some parents just have their hands up in the air and say, I don't know what to do. Because they've tried everything and the kids are just on a flow, doing their own thing.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions on that? Anything to add, Diana?
No, we'll keep, that's our number one focus this year, and we'll keep at it. Keep working to try to find out what the answers are.
Okay. Board member reports. Does anyone have anything for the good of the order?
No, the kids did good. I did notice the girls got the academic award though. I
Yes.
thought that was
Oh, that's pretty
Did
good.
state
Yeah.
champs,
excellent.
Should be. pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Hazel, let's type them in here.
Whoa, I'm going.
Oh,
Thanks for letting me
yeah, how did that happen? That's cool.
Never seen that happen.
Don't see that happen.
Oh, Hazel Rose made a paragraph mark. It's assigned to you. Okay, so I guess that's,
Wrestlers did great. We got second at state as a team. 9 medals.
we get a banner for that?
We got a trophy
All right.
and medals. It was a good, overall a good
Good
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Carl, how many times is that second in state now?
3.
So what's holding us back? Who's
I don't
that,
think
who's
we
that
can catch
other,
up to
who's
the
that
other.
other school?
Well, that year we lost by 1.5 because the heavyweight from Blaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tenasket was pretty far out in front this year. They had a really good team. So it was kind of a race for second, which there's some other teams that were right in there. So it kind of made it exciting. But kids did great.
And no problems on the traveling,
Mm-mm.
the non-wrestling aspects of the tournament. Okay, that's good to hear. All right,
No one got their legs broken too.
that's good too. Yeah.
7 at my hotel, but none of ours from overstaying.
Say what, the hotel you were in had 7 break-ins? Oh, nice.
And didn't one get stolen too? Somebody's.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Kyle's nephew, rig got stolen.
I heard
You
they
know.
found it today or
I heard
something.
that too.
Yeah, they might get it back.
Yeah.
In what condition?
I don't know.
And then the
Okay.
girls, you
Yeah.
know, report on the girls.
Oh, yeah, the girls went, they lost, but they got a good experience there. They won good last Friday.
Mhm.
So that was good. Second year in a row that they won. A lot of young kids on that team, so look forward to some more years of success there.
Good. Sounds good. And then, of course, the auction coming up in about a month.
March 15th and 16th in about 2 weeks.
2 weeks, Bill.
Oh, it can't be 2 weeks. We're after the end
Yeah,
of
it
this
is.
month. Yeah.
We're just.
We only got 3 days left.
2 weeks and 3 days.
17 days. All right. Well, good. All right. Let's move on then. New business. We need to approve resolution number 10-23/24, our spring extracurricular and athletic staffing.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All righty. Any questions or comments about this before we vote? Not hearing any. All those in favor of resolution number 10-23/24, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And Shannon stepped out. It passes. Approval of number 2, approval of QVSD 24-25 school year calendar. Looking ahead already. Everybody have a chance to look that over. Any glitches or anything that were found posting?
He says draft document number 2. What was number 1?
Number 1, I think, had a later spring break. Again, the goal is to start sometime around Labor Day and finish before the 15th. I can't exactly remember, but both of our bargaining agreements, our paraeducator and our certificated, asked for input, that they have input on the calendar. So we came up with 2, yeah. Yeah. And then they gave us the only thing we were considering adding, and if so, we would bring it back at the beginning of the year, is we've had a request for somewhere in February, parent-teacher conferences. We used to have those at least 2 days in the spring, where then we would meet with any senior parents where there's issues with graduation credits, or maybe not performance getting ready for graduation, but also in preparation for spring testing, to really engage with the families. And so we're considering maybe bringing that as an addendum. The reason we quit doing the spring ones, they were not as well attended. And again, protecting instructional time, so you have 180 days. So that might be an option that we bring back after our building principals have a better chance to really dive into what that might look like. But otherwise, you can see if we have any scheduled power outages or unscheduled power outages, or we'd be going until June 17th. The kids get really kind of restless by then.
Okay.
Starting the day after Labor Day, yeah. And we intentionally don't have teachers here on that Friday before Labor Day, so they have a 4-day Labor Day. They actually start on the 28th and 29th, and then don't come back until the 3rd. Yeah.
All right. Any problems with anybody on that? Then all those in favor of approving the calendar for school year 24/25, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody nay? None. It's unanimous.
So we can come by the office and we can get a copy of this year's calendar.
You can.
See, they're kind of handy to have. They
Yes.
have. Hazel likes to give us an update or there's a meeting coming up. That's good. But sometimes we can refer to our calendar.
I think something coming
Plus the extra, if you send it.
This is
So if she sends it, then I go get it.
It's not gonna cost.
I'll go get it.
Okay. Number 2. No, I'm sorry, number 3. Architectural and engineering contract for Forks Elementary re-roofing project. Everybody get a chance to look at that?
So this is for the architectural and engineering fees, just to plan so that we're shovel ready to update our,
It costs more than the roof.
yeah, the roofing and the mechanical on top. If you look and see, you can, it's not just an easy re-roof. But in doing so, we're ready in the event that there are grants for small school districts or rural school districts that we can tap into in the fall.
this a whole roof elementary?
It's the 1969 section.
That's the one with the pods?
Correct. It's A, B, and C. With the flat sections and peaked, the 9 peak sections.
For the mechanical,
Yeah, it's got the mechanical, the smoke doors in it. It's got the exhaust fans, everything that's up
So
there.
what's this contractor gonna do for us? Just go up there and say, yep, you've got this amount of flat, this amount of peak, or, I mean, what
They're doing
exactly are we
drawings and
paying?
such. They're gonna draw up new ones so that we're ready to go on the next project. So they're gonna go through, we're going to test the insulation, check the insulation, the depth, because with this one, you're gonna have to add insulation to the project. And then it's taken the torch down roof that's originally up there from 69. They're gonna go with a TPO roof over the top of that, so it's the thick milled rubberized roofs.
Yeah.
Go up there to cover everything. There's some changing on the scuppers that come off that they're gonna do. So it's basically, they're gonna re-engineer some of the heat pumps and such that have been put on up there, put the curbs and stuff to all those, and then they'll basically it's the drawings to do everything. So the
Okay.
drawings for
All right.
so you're looking at a maximum allowable construction cost of 2 million is what they're predicting for that whole part. That would extend the life of that building another 30 years. And so when you look at our 20-year plan with us planning to go out replacement bond, not increasing taxes, but going out with a replacement bond when our other one expires to rebuild the middle school, then you've got another 30 years of debt. And so by the time that 30 years is of debt is done, then we could potentially go out for the elementary school. That's what you just plan ahead.
Will you be there for that?
I don't think I will be there, unfortunately. Let me see.
Never say never.
I might be alive, I'm hoping, but I won't be in this role.
Okay.
But it's good planning. Again, getting that information, we'll start getting all that information out to the community about the planning so that we're not where we have too many projects at once and can't afford them. I would like to be alive to see how much something costs to replace a building then.
Well, if we still have any students.
Mhm.
Okay, this requires a motion to approve it. Where's this money coming from?
It's gonna have to come from, probably our local levy dollars.
Okay.
If you look and see, you can see the cost breakdown of all the different areas. And again, I'm assuming those are whack. I mean, there's a schedule of where those come from. He's not making those up out.
Right.
It's spendy, but we're ready to go then.
I'll make a motion that we agree to the contract with Henson Architects. For elementary school.
Okay, for a second.
I'll second.
I do have another question. How long is this approval good for? I
Will
mean,
they,
what if no grants come along in the next
we'll
5,
find
10
money.
years?
We'll find money.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to know where you look, because maybe I could find some too.
We'll find money.
All right,
That's been the beauty of our projects that we're ready to go, like the work that we're now doing on the potential fast pitch and or artificial fields out by the elementary school. If you're ready to go, like that was kind of the accident of I shouldn't say accident. That was the good planning of our stadium. Then with the money, we found the
Okay,
money, you're ready to go.
yeah. All right, so we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nobody's opposed. Whole business. This is Spartan Stadium Phase 2 public restrooms. Bill, what do you got for us?
They've got the roof papered. They should be putting the big barrier around the outside of it here this week. Plumbers will be there Wednesday to start on the inside. Should also see HVAC coming this week. And then some electrical over there. So being weathered in like it is, we're able to get those things done. You're also going to see, Kyle was telling me, the masonry around the building should be started here fairly soon as well.
Oh, wow.
So about 2-3 weeks, they're going to start the roofing and everything's been ordered. They're just waiting for it.
Looks great.
How are we heating it?
What's that?
I forgot how we're heating it.
It's got a little HVAC that's in there. It's just
Horsehair.
Just for it.
It goes
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
as a mechanical roof for that. So Chris is out there working on the fencing. He's getting inside fencing and he's got most of that up. So that shouldn't cause any issues with our kids out there for sports. I just got to say, I was out there today. There was a huge turnout for kids in soccer today. There was a lot of kids on the field. I was really surprised. I think it was 33 titles. Yeah, there was a lot of people out there today. Anyway, yeah, the other thing I'd like to let you guys know is that Southern Bleacher did come back. They got up on the roof and they added those panels and took care of that. We're going to check it this week with the rain and make sure that we don't have any more drips. So that was also
Great.
besides that. Any questions on the building out there?
Nope. Not for me anyway. I won't speak for everybody.
Well, if you guys want to go out there and walk through it, just let me know. If there's anything you guys have questions on, let me know. I'll get you the answers. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bill. Okay. You probably are going to get to talk about this too a little bit if somebody has questions. Next thing on old business is Phase 2, change order P006, landscape demolition and pavement, $39,262.63. We need a motion for that to approve that change order.
We kind of talked about this at a last board meeting.
Yeah.
But that was the part that the civil didn't put in the plans, that it didn't get in the
The
plans.
LRB wasn't able to get in before the time they did.
Gotcha.
But just cleans up all of that past the entrance, all the way out to the trash dumpster.
So 7 engineers that we pay all that money to and we get it wrong, we end up paying for their mistakes. That kind of bothers me a little bit. Yeah,
It bothers everyone.
I know, but what do you do about it?
Talk to your legislator about
Don't go back.
changing that.
Don't go back to them. It's real bad,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Make a difference. Okay. But it's too late for that project.
Mhm.
All right.
Like when you have these little change orders, they get a chance to stick it to you and they just do. You look at some of the prices, it's like, really? You know? I wish I could do that.
Yeah. You should try it. Mike.
Well, if you worked out of town more, you might be able to.
Yeah.
Where they don't know you.
Quit hanging out down the store.
Okay. Okay, we have the motions. I believe. No? Is there a motion to approve? Yeah, I guess I was asking for it. Is there a motion to approve the change order P006?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Choice.
Well, we just won't demo it if we don't pay for it. But we want to.
But the asphalt.
That's not too bad.
That's something we kind of added later, wasn't it? Because we weren't gonna asphalt.
We did it on the project, and it, to be honest, when you go out there and you look at the front part that we did right, and it was a change order that it's what they call an owner change order. Not, there wasn't ICI coming to us. That really cleaned that up. I mean, because when you have rocks and crevices, then the grass just grows. And
Then you
so finishing it out, I mean,
makes sense. All right. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Don't hear anybody, so it is approved. Next is the change order P007 for the added outlet and water for at the restroom project for 15,712, which seems pretty reasonable when I've looked at it. So
That would be the change order for the
Little League
concession-
stuff,
the
yeah.
concession stand.
Did they get a new stand or they have one on
I
file?
haven't seen anything. I've brought it up several.
So they'll just make sure that they can use ours.
Yeah.
when they get it.
We're doing what we can so they have what they need.
and we sure we're putting it where we want it.
I hope they don't change now.
Well, I mean, we don't care about them.
Yeah, it was going towards, I think this one is towards the parking lot now, so they would pull out, grab onto it, when they're done, so take it back out. So,
Okay. Is there a motion to approve change order P007?
I'll make a motion to approve P007.
Thank you. Second. All right, Kevin, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It's approved.
and just so you know, I mean, we have weekly meetings with the contractor and with Jay Hansen Art. And so I asked him, we are currently right, just a little under 7%. And I had remembered from when we did the high school project being around 7%. And he said that when you're looking at industry standard, 5% on a new project is really good. That's about, you don't want any, there's some
5% for change
change
orders?
orders. He said where you usually will see 7% is when you're remodeling. This really isn't a remodel, but there are the marrying of the two projects is a little bit of a challenge. But I think we'll come in right at 7%.
Okay,
We're just about done. We may have one other small.
what's that?
It has to do with the grade,
Oh, right.
the marrying of the
That is
grades
too-
and some
too steep.
challenges. Yeah, and where whatever that drainage is or that.
they want to cut another 5 feet back. They went back to 10 feet and there's a.
By back, what do you
Right
mean
there.
by they went back?
They cut back 10 feet already on that we had. And there's a catch basin that's still too close. So it's causing a quick drop right there. So they're hoping to see if they can go back a little bit further.
And then that costs money to cut it out and excavate and then re-pour.
All right.
Oh, it's zero.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someday we're gonna have zero.
Zero,
Yes,
zero. The
Yeah.
middle school building.
yeah.
There you go.
Okay, everyone hold your breath. Oh, that happens. Okay, we approve that, correct? Done.
I have.
You
Did
have
they
it.
vote on it? Okay.
All right, now we'll move to public comments and questions. Is there a public comment here? Bob Kratzer, softball issues. Bob,
Hey, my name is Bob Kratzer. I'm kind of here on behalf of my wife more than myself.
okay,
She said she was a little too emotional to come tonight, so thought that I would probably be better. So, probably just give you a little history. So, my wife and I started coaching softball about 21 years ago within the West End Youth League. And we coached all the way through that with our daughters. And then once we were done there, we moved on and started coaching travel ball teams and coached all the way through that with our kids and other kids. And then when our kids got into high school, particularly my youngest one, my wife took on a JV position as a coach for the high school team. And she did that for 4 years and then eventually became the high school coach, the head coach for 4 years. And so we've done that. We've gone to a gazillion coaching clinics at UW and other universities. We've been doing the coaching clinics that Kyle wanted us to go to and so forth. So you can kind of say softball's been part of our life for a long time. My daughter got a full ride and played for a junior college, so she played there. So we've coached a lot for a long time here. And so in all the years, she's never really had any complaints about it or anything. And no real complaints other than obviously any coach would have with playing time or stuff like that, but nothing more than that. So it was a little bit of a surprise this year when at the end of the season, when she's talking about, you know, the new season coming up and so forth, that in having a meeting with Kyle, she found out that apparently there was a bunch of accusations from some parents, some players, and some coaches. And so one of the things we questioned in that was at the beginning of a year, all students have a playbook or a handbook that they sign. It says if you have an issue with a coach, you're supposed to go to the coach and talk. And it's also signed by the parents. The parents also sign it that if the child cannot resolve the issue, then the parent can go to the coach and resolve the issue. No parents ever came to us throughout the course of the season. Not one. None of them came with any accusations, no complaints, no nothing. And so they just, at the end of the season, they didn't complain to Kyle. And I think I am too. And so when we asked about that, he said that we asked if Tracy asked if she could meet with Kyle and the parents or the players. They said they were too uncomfortable to do that. And so basically there was no resolve of anything in that. The accusation that we've heard have not been anything that would be so egregious that you shouldn't be able to talk to your coach about. There was nothing major that you would think is bad. And so that there was no resolve in any of that. And so at that point in time, basically her option was she could reapply for the job or she could resign. She didn't want to resign because she loves coaching. She didn't want to reapply for the job. If you're asking me to reapply, I mean, I'm not going to get it anyway, so why would I reapply? Bigger question on that is, if you're saying I could reapply, that means then no accusation was strong enough to actually let me go, let my wife go. So why would you have her reapply? So anyways, that didn't happen. She did not reapply. She did not resign. And then, so we had a conversation with Diane, and I was involved in that meeting, and we talked about these issues and everything. She kind of gave us an idea of some of the accusations. Couple were from some coaches and so forth. I know in that particular meeting, Diane made it apparent 3 different times that the coaches that did complain had no desire to coach going forward. Like they're complaining, but they really don't have any desire to coach. But yet they're the coaches this year. So I'm like, well, if they didn't want to coach, now they're the coaches, which is what I thought was going to happen in the first place. And so I guess it just hurts that like my wife was never given an opportunity to defend herself. She just, here's the accusations. we've decided that we are gonna reopen the position. Not, can you defend yourself or anything like that? She didn't get that opportunity to do so. And, it just freaked up on her. I mean, she hasn't slept, she's been crying, and she's been upset. That's why she's not here tonight. Put our heart and soul into this community, into this job. Didn't feel like there was any support from the school. And they just got accusations and did it. I get their points of view because in the situation they're in, this is probably what they had to do it. But at the same time, I think there should have been a little more investigation, a little more digging in to find out what was really fact here. You have a coach that's been there for 9 years already in your school with no complaints, and then 1 year, there's a bunch of complaints. And none of them during the season. They're all at the end of the season. After we took second in state, after everybody was happy, all of a sudden some coaches and kids come in and complain. With no accusations that were of anything serious. So I question, like, why are we having kids sign a contract if we're not going to uphold them to it? I also question why we hire coaches that tell you, I've got no desire to coach here, right now, but yet we hire them. So as a parent and as a coach and as a person in this community, I'm really puzzled. I'm hurt. And my wife is really crushed that we put in a lot of time and we basically just got thrown out with the bathwater with no defense, no nothing. Just sorry, you're gone. And we've had coaches come to us, a couple from the school, and said, man, we're sorry. You really got dealt wrong. We've had people come from the community and say things. We've had people come to the community and say, oh, I heard Tracy resigned. She didn't resign. She never gave you a resignation. She wasn't fired. She just was, you don't get the job. And so I just coming here because I've talked to Kyle, I've talked to Diane, and I just think we need to question what we're doing. If this was a teacher, would we do this? No, we'd have a whole different process. Well, you're a paid coach and you've been here with us for 9 years or 8 years, I guess, for high school. And so it's a sore subject. It's hard, really tough when you do all this stuff and then you just get thrown away. And I think it was by some, my gut feeling is some coaches and parents that kind of got together and decided they want somebody else to coach this team. And so they forced their hand. And we accepted it and moved on. That's all I really have, other than just, like I said, we're crushed because we just didn't have an opportunity to defend ourselves or do anything. That's all I really have.
Well, thank you, Bob, for bringing that to our attention.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks. Anybody else? Anybody out there? Nathan? Okay. Well then, at this point, we'll assume there's nobody out there who wants to play with us. So we do have an executive session, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, we only have time for 1 minute.
We can have 10 minutes.
Okay. 10 minutes, no action afterwards.
It's on bargaining.
It's on bargaining. So we'll adjourn when we come out of it, and you can stay if you want to watch the adjournment, but I don't recommend it. It's not that exciting. But thank you all for being here. Thank you, Bob, for bringing your concerns. Appreciate it. And John, it's nice to meet you.
See you around.
Bye, Myron. Bye, Sheila.
Bye, Myron.
Myron,
Bye,
Sheila. Thank you guys.
Have a
for coming
good
too.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. We go in the back room, I